Hey guys, I'm Harrison Cook. I'm the assistant conductor for Symphony, and I do a couple of other programs with GYSO. I was inspired by Mr. Metrio's video that he posted the other day just on auditioning tips and the processes that he goes through. So let me first say that auditioning is hard. The judges know that. We've been through it before. I've auditioned for dozens of ensembles, including professional ones like the Atlanta Symphony, the Army Band, and several, a lot more. Um, it does get easier the more you do it, I promise. He did a great video on what he does to prepare. I do most, if not all, of the things he suggested, including eating a banana beforehand. I don't know how much of that it's in my head versus being an actual physical response, but it seems to work for me. The only thing I would add is to play scales all the time. Dream about scales and work them into your practice sessions. There's a reason scales show up in auditions so much. I know they can be boring, but in good groups, you're going to be playing pieces that have 5, 6, 7 flats. And if you're floundering for notes because you're not familiar with the keys, then you aren't going to have a good experience. Whenever I'm backstage before a performance, 9 times out of 10, I'm not woodshedding difficult passages. I'm working on scales to make sure that I'm in tune in those passages. There's a reason they show up in your auditions, and they're not going to go away. For honor orchestra, you have to do scales. For Allstate, you have to do scales. For our group, you have to do scales. Anyways, instead of talking about the auditioning side of things, I thought it'd be beneficial for you to hear what we, the judges, are looking for and our mindsets going into auditions. First thing is, we want you to do well. Believe it or not, we really do. Um, we've been through auditions. We know it's hard. We aren't unsympathetic to what you're going through, especially if it's one of your first auditions. I've been in audition rooms where people immediately start crying the second they sit down, or they cry the second they mess up. And I'll be honest, I've been there too. I've left an audition and cried my way home because things just went so terribly during the audition, and it's just running through my mind. The second I make a mistake in an audition, that's all I can think about is, oh my god, I just messed up. How am I going to recover for them? They're never going to accept me into this group. And one thing that always helps me, and it does come from experience and being able to do it a lot, is that every single person who auditions is going to make a mistake. I've taken dozens of auditions, I've given thousands of performances, and I've never played a perfect concert or audition. It just doesn't happen. I've gotten really close, but I've never gotten perfect. And the thing is, I still get into the groups that I audition for despite my mistakes. And the reason is that judges aren't looking for perfection. What we're looking for are, does a person have good pitch and rhythm? One of the first things that sticks out to a judge is, can this person keep a good time, and can they play in tune? Second big thing is, can you follow a musical line? I always say, I teach privately cello. I can teach a 4-year-old to play the first Bach cello suite, the da 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 da, that everybody knows. But is it going to be musical? They don't have that sense of, where should I be leading this phrase to? So that's another thing, especially in the upper groups that we're looking for. Can they follow a musical line? And the last thing is, can you handle pressure? I don't care what grade level you are, the first time you actually perform is nerve-wracking. If you're playing music that's too hard, you're going to fall apart on stage because of nerves. And we don't want that for you. We want you to be comfortable on stage and proud of the work that you've put into the music, which goes back to, we want you to do well. And that leads me to my second big point, which is, I call it the main goal, which is to put students into the group that best suits their needs and allow them to grow at the right pace. It's always good to have a goal. I mean, if we had it your way, every student who auditioned would end up in symphony. We'd have 500 kids in symphony. But it's not realistic. It's not always a good thing to immediately achieve your goal if you're not ready. As a judge, I use the main goal and say, okay, this kid wants to be in symphony, but they've only been playing violin for 6 months. Where can I put them that they will still be challenged and can still learn a lot from the director and allow them to grow to the level that they're ready to be in symphony? And maybe it'll take you 2, 3, or 5 years to get to that point, but we, the judges, would be doing you a disservice by putting you into a group that is way too hard, because you're going to be so focused on learning how to play the notes that you miss out on the actual music making process. So don't think of your placement as a punishment if you don't get the group that you wanted. Think of it as like the training grounds so that you can eventually reach your group goal. On the flip side, some of you might get into a group higher than what you were expecting and are daunted by the prospect of it. If that happens, remember that the judges put you there because we see a lot of talent that maybe you don't see in yourself, and we feel like you are ready. And that's our job as the judges, to see where is a student actually going to perform in our groups. The last thing is, believe it or not, judging can be just as nerve-wracking as taking the audition. We want to make sure that students get put into the right group. I would feel horrible if I put a student into a group that was way too hard for them to the point that they give up and eventually quit. I also don't want to put a student in a group that's way below where they actually are musically to the point that they're bored and stop engaging with the music. I honestly don't focus on the mistakes that much because we know that mistakes are going to happen. You and I both. You're not going to play a perfect audition, whether it's recorded or live or what it is. Mistakes are going to happen. So I try to look past those and say, okay, what are the good things that they're doing? Where are the holes in their education? Like, do they need a whole lot more work on scales? Are they comfortable playing in 5 flats? Where can you actually improve? And then I try to place you into a group that I think will best fill out those holes and fill you out as a musician, so that the next time I see you in an audition, I can say, wow, they've improved so much. Let's get them on into the next group. So hopefully this gives you a better mindset into where the judges are, and hopefully relax you just a little bit as you prepare for the auditions. So you have about a month, which should be plenty of time. Hopefully you're not just now looking at the music, but if you are, thankfully you don't have a whole lot of school happening right now, so you can spend all of that time devoted to preparing for your auditions. So hope you guys are well, hope you're safe, and I'll see you guys when we return in the fall.